All right, welcome back to another episode of Hops and Houses. I'm your host, Robert Ring, with my co-host, Valerie Kroll, and we are at Heretic today. And we have Andrew with us, who is the Director of Brewing Operations. Is that the right title?
Yeah. Andrew Conlon, Director of Brewing Operations here.
Awesome.
And I don't know. You were here last week, but I've been meaning to come to this place forever. Yep. And I'm kind of disappointed that I haven't been here previously. This place is cool.
It's a really cool spot.
You're here now, so that's all that's important.
Absolutely.
It is important. So
you guys have some big news. You were recently acquired by Calicraft.
Yeah, so basically, I know there's a lot of confusion out there. There's maybe not enough information out there in the public. But essentially what happened was Heretic was in the middle of some bankruptcy, and Calicraft, the owner, Blaine, who's an incredible guy I've known since 2012, he stepped in and bought us. So we've been producing for Calicraft for the past 2.5 years, and it was kind of a perfect storm to end us where we are now, which is where Heretic is now owned by Calicraft. So the beautiful thing is you can stop by, you can have not just Heretic products, but also Calicraft products. And then if you go to their Walnut Creek location, the Shadelands area, there will be Heretic beer and cans as well available. So the beautiful thing is there won't just be, there will be both Heretic and Calicraft at both locations. And then there's also a new location that's opening up in Davis with a restaurant. And there's one opening up in downtown Walnut Creek over the next 6 to 9 months.
Is that?
wait a minute, where's that? Hello.
That's in the Talladega County. Is that in the old Krogan's Bar location?
Oh man, I should know what the
old
name
Bear
of
pub?
was it called the Bear or something like that? I don't know enough about Davis. I should.
No, Walnut Creek.
Oh, in Walnut Creek, it's going to be above Vaudeville. So you'll be right there in the downtown area.
Well, you're taking over the rooftop.
Yes. No. Rooftop's across the way. Yeah. It's
I
up
didn't know there was a pub.
if you've walked by, look up there. We are working on it. I don't know the exact day that we're going to be opening, but keep your eyes peeled. You will get access to Heretic and Calicraft products, not just our beer, but also our spirits that we produce here.
Awesome.
And that's the beauty is Heretic has been all over the world, and now we've got a few locations that you'll be able to have access to in the Bay Area.
So what's happening with the Heretic name? Is it changing to Calicraft and you'll serve Heretic beers, or is it to stay a hybrid?
So consider it like a brand series underneath the parent that is Calicraft.
Okay.
So you'll still have access to Heretic. We ship not only within California, but to the East Coast and also to Asia as well. So that will continue to be available. And then, like I said, it will be at all 4 tap rooms as well. So you will still see a lot of your favorites, but I would say you're not going to have all the beers that we had originally, but there will be all the fan favorites. So everything from Evil Cousin, Evil Twin, Shallow Grave, CHP, all those original ones that were around back in 2013.
Awesome. So
Speaking of Evil Twin.
yeah,
It's honestly, red beers and red IPAs aren't the
Look at that.
hippest, but I still have people that come up and they're like, that is my go-to beer, which makes me very happy.
That's very nice.
Speaking of beer, like what is you're basically the brewmaster here, is that correct?
Yeah, so in 2017, I became the head brewer, and then I've just moved up within the company. So I've been here since the end of 2013.
Yeah.
So actually, we started at this location January 1st, 2013.
Okay.
And previous to that, I don't know if you guys know EJ Fair out of Pittsburgh. They recently were replaced by Headlands, but that was the brew system that we used. Back in 2011 to 2013, we brewed at their facility.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we did not know that.
Do you have a favorite beer that is kind of like
It's hard. It's like asking somebody what's their favorite movie.
Who's your favorite kid?
That one's a little bit easier, but no, it's big. No, but it depends on the season. It depends on my mood. If I'm in the mood for something hoppy and bitter, I go for Evil Cousin, our double IPA. That's kind of a fan favorite.
Oh, look, here it is.
Perfect. Evil Twin, same thing. I'm not always in the mood for something on the malty side, but if I am, it's like the perfect red ale or red IPA.
Yeah.
If I'm in the mood for a hazy Maja or American Juicy again is always great. We now have Carl the Fog in our portfolio, which is a Calicraft product. It's
Yeah, we
awesome.
We like Carl the Fog a lot.
Same thing. Cool Kids is the best it's ever been. I would say if you get a chance, try it in either Walnut Creek or here. It is awesome.
And Cool Kids is your IPA, which is both hazy and non-hazy. You can get both, right?
Yeah, so basically it was originally called Cool Kids Juicy and Cool Kids Hazy. That was a little confusing for our customers.
Yeah.
So now it's just Cool Kids, which is the West Coast IPA version, and then Hazy Days is the hazy IPA that's kind of akin to the Make America Juice Again.
Yeah, I've had the fanny pack for several years now.
Yes, it's a great name.
Piece of merch, by the way.
I would like to take credit, but I wasn't there at the time. But yeah, as far as the establishment itself, you'll start to see changes happening. Our menu has changed, so we have delicious pizzas with locally sourced ingredients that are awesome.
Yeah,
and then you'll start to see a few changes. You can see the lights above us are new.
Yeah,
those are nice.
They're creating just like you would see at the Shadelands location in Walnut Creek. There's going to be a giant barrel stave wall that will go within that large rectangle. So you'll see little design changes here and there to make this place more to the style of Calicraft.
Yeah. Now you have actual work to do, so I don't want to hold you for too long, but
sure.
I couldn't leave here without asking you about your beers that have 16.5% and 17% alcohol by volume. I would say in the 7 years we've done this, we've never encountered that.
We've never seen a 17, and we've been all over Northern California.
Yeah. So it's funny because this brewery is known for doing these gigantic beers. It started with Evil 3, which was 11.5% triple IPA, which is known throughout the Bay Area. Triple IPAs are very popular. From there, it became 4th of Juicy, which is a 14% hazy IPA that we called a quadruple IPA, which is not really a style.
Yeah.
And then from there, we went to Amnesia Juice that was 16.5%. And honestly, it turned out incredible.
And that stuff's very good.
It's good.
Here too.
Yes, you've got the Golden Barrel, which is, we've got our distillery over there. We have whiskeys that we just harvested from those barrels after sitting in the barrels for 4 to 5 years. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with these?
You make whiskeys too?
We make whiskeys. Yeah, you see all those barrels up there? Try
all that.
Okay,
so we've got.
I can't leave here without trying some whiskey.
Try the Maja or the Make America Juice Again whiskey. We did Maja, Evil Twin, and Shallow Grave 5 years ago.
Yeah,
we distilled them on our still over there, and then we let them sit in barrels for 4 or 5 years, and they are awesome. Maja's got character of the hops coming through, so it's a floral. In fact, I'll bring over samples. You can try it. It is 99.9 proof, but it is. It's essentially once you go above 99.9, your taxes double. That's the cutoff point where this tastes amazing. This tastes perfect at that dilution rate. Yeah, we still want people to get the bang for their buck. But to tie it back into the big beers, Golden Barrel, I had these barrels that were available. I'm like, what am I going to do? I had just made a golden stout, which if you guys don't know, a golden stout is the equivalent of a stout, but without any of the darkness and color. So essentially what you do is you take coffee beans and cocoa nibs, and they don't change the color of the beer, but they change the flavor of the beer to have that roasty, chocolatey coffee quality to it. Yeah. So it's kind of an illusion. You look at this beer that looks like a pale ale, but it tastes just like a stout.
We have that, right? Is that it right there?
Which one are you looking for?
Yeah, is that the Golden Barrel? Oh, no, that's the Amnesia Juice. Okay, I'm going to bring over a sample of the Golden Barrel. You guys try it. You tell your...
We did too, but...
I guess we don't.
Maybe I missed.
Somehow we don't.
Yeah, so that one was a 7. I basically was like, what is the biggest beer I can create and toss it in a barrel for 6 months as it kind of mellows out. But try it because it does not taste like 17%.
So I heard something years ago, and I guess this is just a total myth, that if you go above a certain ABV with beer, it has to be classified as...
So basically, there are different laws within each state.
Okay. And
so there are certain states that, Utah is well known for you couldn't go above, I think it used to be 2.4, now it's 5%.
2.4? What is that?
And then there are specific rules within those states. Utah gets the brunt of all the shame associated with it, but there's so many states throughout the U.S. that have pre-prohibition laws that have just been established since then, and it's hard to fight those laws. So people like Sam Calgione from Dogfish Head is known he came into Delaware and he's like, there's all these laws that are allowing me to be a successful craft brewery. So he had to go and change laws in order to become a company that can sell beer.
Prosecute those laws? Like, if you went to go break them, would they be like, hey, you're in trouble, mister?
I doubt it.
Your beer's too good.
You also can't have a multi-million-dollar company where you're, at a place of liability.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
So we're very fortunate in California. The laws here are a lot more appropriate for a craft beer to succeed. But to answer your question, you can go to certain ABVs depending on where you are as far as your state goes, your state laws.
Okay.
We can do whatever we want.
Okay.
Somebody, who was it? Brewdog out of it's Europe. They created a beer that was 46% alcohol. And the problem is it's not legal to do that within the U.S. It's called an ice bock. Essentially, what you do is you brew a beer, let's say 8 to 10%, then you freeze it slightly so the water freezes, and so what's left behind, you can send that beer out of there, leave the frozen water behind, and you get this elevated, crazy ABV beer. You can't do that in the U.S. because it's considered distillation, but we have, in fact, done it here because we have a distillery. So we sold it under our distilling license. So it was the first legal ice bock in the United States. So nobody cared here. I got incredibly excited.
That's amazing.
But
Yeah.
Really cool.
it's an education because customers come in and they don't know about what an ice bock is. And so I'm like sitting at the bar like, can you, try the ice bock, try that. So nobody.
It's totally different than regular distillation.
Correct. Normal distillation, you would basically just slightly boil the liquid and the alcohol will become vapors up it through the column, and then you'll cool those vapors down and they'll become liquid again. So you just have straight alcohol.
Yeah.
The higher and higher you go up in the column.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. This has been very educational. Fun.
I can talk about beer for hours. But I'll bring over the module, I'll bring over the golden barrel, and you let me know what you think.
Okay. Sounds good.
Right on.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Do you want to hand me your mic?
Oh yeah. You want me to just talk on phone?
Actually, you can come back with it.
You have to come back and get your mic back. Wow. How about that?
That was super cool.
I'm super excited to be here and all this beer. And we do have some food here, which we're not going to eat right now. But
Brace yourself. I'm hungry.
all right, well, then I will talk because I've got the Dead Santa, which I love a good holiday ale. And this is a very nice spiced holiday ale.
And this is like a sourdough pizza bread with their hummus here.
Which is delicious. So,
Oh my goodness. I'm going to need a napkin.
you're going to need a napkin. So we've been talking about beer. We're going to bounce back and forth. Let's talk about the real estate market right now, just for a minute. Uh-oh. Here comes
Awesome.
Andrew's
Thank you.
nothing but trouble.
Let me know what you think. They're both incredible, but they are both.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
Okay. Like I said, we'll be here all week. Not because we want to, just because we can't drive home.
Wow, that is super good.
Is it? Let me try it.
That is so dang good. This sourdough pizza bread
Holy shit.
is just unbelievable.
Holy shit. This is good.
Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to rearrange some stuff over here. It's always fun to sit down with the brewmaster
Mhm.
because you never know what somebody's just like totally nerded out on. They have a facility like this at their disposal. This is their hobby. This is their passion. They're super smart. He's been doing it for over a decade. Yeah, and he just dives right into like making the only ice block in the country. I mean, I didn't even know what that was 2 seconds ago.
I did, but that's because I lived in Germany. Wow.
Really good.
Mm.
Wow. Well, we have a lot of beer to try. Let's dive quickly into market insights, market updates. We've been doing some studying together with an economist we both like, Logan Bodashami.
Yeah.
And so where do you want to start?
I want to start with what's happening in the market. What we're seeing, sure enough, everybody was waiting for the presidential election.
Yep.
And half the country's happy, half the country's pissed off. And that's pretty much the way it was going to be no matter how it went.
Yep.
And here we are. But It's like people that were sitting and waiting. It's like there's nothing to sit and wait for, and they're making a move or not. I am seeing a lot of movement from people in red states going, I can't stay here anymore. And they're looking at blue states. Of course, they can't look at California because they can't afford California. And that's just a California problem. And what I like to remind everybody is we are still the 5th largest economy in the world. And if we broke off from the United States, we would still be the 5th largest economy in the world. And that's just the way California is. But people are starting to get back in the market. We're looking for the sweet spot in affordability, which is going to be interest rates. I think once your average interest rate hits 6, we'll be okay. Now, it was heading down, and then it kind of eked back up, and it was at national average last week was 6.84. The week before was 6.79.
No. The national average was higher than that last.
No, it actually from the San Diego Fed or the St. Louis Fed.
Okay, I track it on mortgage on Google.
Yeah, no, I track it with the St. Louis Fed.
Okay.
So it was 6.84 last week. The week before it was 6.79. And this is the rates that people are getting throughout the country.
But that's a huge disparity from the mortgage trend, the Google mortgage trend, because that has it like 7.559.
Yeah, but this is the rates that are closing. The St. Louis Fed.
Okay, well, what's closing is going to be like a month ago. It was locked a month ago if it closed today.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean,
but
because I can tell you that rates have gone up precipitously. Like a no.
Well, I've been watching.
Fixed rate is between 7 and 7.5% today.
Right.
And
it was
in a lot of scenarios. In some, it's lower, of course.
Yeah.
Jumbo loans, VA loans, FHA loans, it's lower than that. It's in the 6s for sure.
Right. But that mortgage rate affects who's buying houses. And it's like, once again, like I always say, it's like if you can afford the payment, buy the damn house. Which gets back to, I'm going to shout out to Kathy Canolio. Back in 1998, I was buying my first house, and I called Kathy up. She's been my friend for years, great escrow officer. I think she's retired now, but she was the county manager for one of the old republics.
Yeah.
And I said, Kathy, this is my first house. I have no idea what I'm doing. She goes, what do I look at when I look at the paperwork? Because paperwork comes in like that, right?
Yeah.
Kathy goes, look at the payment. If you can afford it, shut the hell up and sign it. Now, I don't recommend that. I think you should read your documents, but Kathy was my friend, and that's what my friends tell me. But it's not bad advice. If you can afford the payment, move forward. Because what will happen is, and we've talked about this before, it's like, okay, you don't move forward today because the interest rate is 7.25, whatever. And you don't move forward today. Well, the thing that's happening is that the homes are still appreciating at about, right now it's slowed down, but it's still going at 2%. So 2% on $700,000, it's like there's $14,000 right out the window. And next year, there's another $14,000 plus, and it's like
plus the money you're spending on rent, right? You have to factor that in.
Exactly, and you're going backwards, and the market is marching on without you.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, Kaizen's kennel name is "I just want it in," and that's just get in.
You gotta get in. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if you've never bought a house before, I am now an ambassador for First Home IQ, which is a nonprofit that has real estate and mortgage professionals as part of it. And our aim is to educate people on the benefits of homeownership. And so if you go to firsthomeIQ.com, you can take the First Home IQ quiz and see how ready you are for homeownership. And there's a lot of great resources there. You can also reach out to me as an ambassador, and I can help, prepare you with educational content. I donate $200 a month to this group, which is a nonprofit with the sole aim of educating the general public around the benefit and the pathway to homeownership and having a mortgage and then becoming mortgage free, et cetera. So expect to see a lot of content from me in the coming weeks around First Home IQ and educational content specifically. But I just wanted to give a quick plug for that because it's a new thing that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Savage, who's the founder of Mortgage Coach, which is now Trust Engine, turned me on to this. I believe he founded First Home IQ with some other folks And he reached out to me because last week I went and taught a high school class about mortgages, which was really exciting for me. And I posted on Facebook, what should I tell them?
Right.
What did you want to know when you were in high school that you weren't taught? And that post got a lot of engagement. And Dave Savage reached out to me and said, hey, you've got to be an ambassador. So I am now an ambassador, and it's something I'm really passionate about. Clearly, if I'm teaching high school kids about that, that's not a paid thing, for me at least. So anyways, let's, I want to talk about rates and yield spreads and Logan Motoshami and all that, but we have a lot of beer to taste and tell you about. So let's dive into, why don't we talk about this whiskey real quick? Can we do that?
Yeah, we can talk about whiskey.
So this is Maja whiskey, Make America Juicy Again whiskey. Ooh, it's got a really good nose on it.
Oh, wow. These guys can make whiskey.
Oh, that's bright, citrusy, pine nutty.
Oh, see, and I've got apricot on it.
I've got the apricot too.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, for sure. That's delicious.
Oh, my goodness, boys.
Phenomenal. And it goes with this golden barrel stout, I guess, because, I don't know, I think they were aged in the same barrels.
Yeah.
Okay, so the beer would have been aged after the whiskey then.
No, man. We're never leaving this place.
Holy smokes, that is so good. And this is 16.5% ABV. That's really high for a beer.
It's the highest we've ever seen.
So I think with a barrel for bourbon, or whiskey, they'll char the barrel, age the whiskey in it, and then they're doing the beer afterwards because the bourbon flavor imparts then on the beer. Absolutely phenomenal. There's coffee, cocoa nibs in here, really rounded, malty, full profile. It's not, you say, if you didn't tell me it was 16.5 ABV, I would have thought you put Rohypnol in my beer. I would not know what I just drank because it would hit me and I would not expect it.
Yeah, it's
Dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous, but it's super well balanced, beautiful flavor.
Yeah.
Once again, the apricots that were in the whiskey show up in the beer. I mean, I don't think I know of anybody that's got a distillery and a beer license.
No, that's cool.
And that certainly opens up a lot of doors.
Absolutely.
For playing with things.
And you can tell he's super passionate about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm kind of passionate with it.
Yeah. So let's talk about rates for a moment. Rates went up. All eyes are on the job sector, right? So if the job market breaks and jobless claims go through the roof and unemployment goes up, rates are going to come down precipitously. They just will, because everybody knows that's what the feds are looking for. Once the labor market breaks, they will move quickly to lower interest rates. And so the big question right now is, who is Trump's Treasury Secretary pick going to be? This is what Logan Motoshami was talking about, and we listened to him, because he's concerned about the impact on tariffs on the economy, or his advisors are, and told him that he needs to make sure that he picks somebody at the Treasury who's going to work with him, because he'll need cooperation from the Treasury. And Logan's perspective is that he'll need somebody who is willing to cap. I didn't even know this was possible, and I wonder, what impact it would have.
It kind of isn't, but they seem to be trying to do it anyway.
So maybe it's a lever they can pull. I don't know about capping the price of the 10-year to limit the yield spread premium between that and mortgage rates, which the yield spread premium right now is around 3.7%. It's basically the highest it's been. I mean, it hit a high in 2023 of about 3, and that was the highest since 2009.
Right. So
what you want is something between 1.5 and 2, and that's just the difference between the price of the 10-year and the average 30-year mortgage rate, probably out by the feds, like Valerie's talking about. And so it was close to 4.5 the 10-year. It was the 4.4 or something, dropped down to about 4.26.
Yeah, it's 4.26 right before we started this, but it was when I woke up this morning, it was 4.41. So
yeah.
But the thing about the 10-year is it's not a volatile number. It's kind of like there's certain stocks like Nvidia is volatile, and it's or Tesla. It's up and it's down, and it's up and it's down.
A lot of trading going on.
Exactly. But then you go to old school stocks that have been around forever, and like Ford, and it fluctuates 4 or 5 cents a day.
Well, it also has a $56 billion market cap.
Right, but
compared to Tesla at 1 trillion, so right, there's a big difference in trading volume on something like that.
Right. Well, there's a difference on P&E too, but those stocks are very volatile. Well, the 10-year should trade like Ford does. It should be an old company that just plugs around. And the fact that the 10-year is so volatile right now concerns me because I've been watching it for years. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know what capping the 10-year would do, but Logan seems to think it would be favorable for mortgage rates.
I don't know how they do that.
I don't either. Interesting. It's something we can look into more. I can tell you rates went up a lot, over 1%. Then they dropped down a little bit. So, huge fluctuation though. September rates were down in the low sixes. I just closed one at like 6 and an 8, no points. And now I'm pricing stuff out at 7 and an 8, no points. So, and I'm talking conventional 30-year fixed products. Obviously, there's some stuff that's way lower than that. Some stuff that's higher. People come to me for a bank statement loan because they write everything off and they can't qualify for a normal mortgage. And, they're like, I heard the rate was 6.5. And I'm like, no, your rate is not 6.5.
Yeah, yours is 8.
It's like, it's easily 8 and you might be making a point. Like, there's not.
Yeah.
And it also depends on credit. But the more, I had this conversation 2 days ago. When you're getting a mortgage, like the more inside the square box that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have kind of set forth that you are, typically the better rate that you're going to get.
Yeah.
The more you move outside of that box and off the reservation, I would say, the worse the rate's going to be. But I also tell people, like what Valerie said, if you can afford it, do it, and know that when rates come down, you'll be able to refinance. And just goes back to the age-old cliche that everybody hears and now wants to vomit when they hear, which is, what is that? Date the rate, marry the house. Yeah. Just open my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got to try some more beers because.
Okay, well, I got the Heretic Pale Ale, which is kind of one of their, what's the word I'm looking for? Cornerstone beers. It's the one you see at the grocery store. I mean, this is.
What is this one?
It's a Heretic Pale Ale, and it's just delicious.
It's a great pale. Let's do something exciting like Primo Diablo.
Oh, I want to talk about Primo Diablo.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll take a sip because I love this beer.
While you do that, let me grab Amnesia and we'll swap.
Primo Diablo, they're doing something here that very few people get right. Down at Iron Fist, which is now gone, rest in peace, in San Diego, Brandon Semensky was the brewmaster, and he used to do 2 beers, Death of a Blonde and Death of a Brunette. Death of a Blonde.
Wow.
What? I know. Brandon, I hope you're watching this. Death of a Blonde was basically a Pilsner with jalapenos or habaneros.
Okay, that would kill a blonde for sure.
Yeah. And Death of a Brunette was a stout like that. And the thing was, these kind of beers exist all over everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're very rarely done properly.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon's was perfect. And that's what I always said is those 2 beers for a pepper-infused beer were perfect. Primo Diablo is perfect.
I agree with you. Let me talk about Amnesia real quick. It's called Amnesia Juice because it's 17% alcohol. Now, mind you, a typical like Cabernet or Pinot is like 14 to 16, okay? So this is...
It's hotter than Zin.
It is delicious. If you did not tell me the amount of alcohol in this, I would be drunk. If you poured me a regular pint of this,
I'd carry you out.
I think that I would be almost drunk.
Oh?
Yeah, no, it would be, but it is malty, sweet, round profile.
I'll get you a pillow and throw it in the back of the Blankford.
Yeah, it's funny. It's delicious.
Where's Robbie? He's in the back of the Land Cruiser.
Wow, just perfect for what it is, and it's very unique. You're not gonna try that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Taste the Amnesia. Now let me move to the Diablo. Primo Diablo, I'm guessing is cousin the devil cousin.
No, it's the twins.
But Primo is cousin, Diablo is devil, right? So Primo Diablo is just Spanish for cousin devil.
Devil cousin.
So instead of evil cousin, we have devil cousin in Spanish.
Yeah, devil cousin.
So this is the guy.
Yeah, that's
the border.
Yeah. This is your cousin in the cartel.
Yeah. He's nice, but don't cross him. Yeah, I mean, on the nose, if you get in there, you get a little undertone of capsaicin.
Yeah.
Right? And then the spice is perfect. It's not going to blow you away, but it's there. It's pleasant. The beer is clear enough that it's not dirtying up the taste of that habanero capsaicin that you get, which just is the right amount.
Right, because if you do it too much, then you can't finish the beer, and it's not a pleasurable experience. This is just right.
The spice level is just right. And I would say too, like the maltiness on that is not disturbing like your enjoyment of the spice.
Right.
Like you have good beer going through your mouth and down your throat, and you've got good spice just hanging out right there. That's a great.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's perfect. I agree, completely perfect. Okay, let's. Okay, let me tell you one really cool thing that just happened recently. Our company, which I thought they were behind on this, now allows for the use of Section 8 payment vouchers to buy a house. So that's really cool. Typically, people think of Section 8 as rentals. You can use it for a rental. You can also use your Section 8 payment voucher to buy a home, and we count it as non-taxable income because that's typically what it is.
Yeah.
Which means we even gross it up. We use more than you get to help you buy. So you got a $3,000 or $4,000 payment voucher. I mean, it goes a long ways in qualifying. So there's people out there that are like on IHSS income. Maybe they're taking care of a disabled family member.
Right.
And they have a payment voucher from Section 8. They can use that payment voucher and become a homeowner. And that is really cool. And I can help you do that now. So, yay, big bonus for that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like home ownership is where wealth is created. The Contra Costa Association of Realtors every year has what they call the big event, and that is our annual meeting. And they bring in Jordan Levine, who is the economist for the California Association of Realtors, and they bring in Gov Hutchinson, who is the general counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Levine was talking about the difference in wealth between people who own their homes and renters. And this is over a period of time, and it's like, I don't have the slide, but if you saw a slide, it's like renters is just like this. They never get ahead. And then the average in the middle was the average of everybody in the United States. And above that, with the most amount of wealth acquired, was homeowners.
Homeowners' wealth in the United States as of today is 40 times that of renters.
Yeah, exactly.
On average. So,
and it's like, so if you can afford it, it's your best path to wealth.
Absolutely.
Which
it's not the only path to wealth, but if you can do it, it's one of the best. My financial advisor says there's 3 ways to get wealthy, and real estate is definitely one of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a retirement account, but it's not huge. I put some money in it, but I put most of my eggs in a basket called real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to him about that. Obviously, he manages people's money, right? So he's not going to make money on your real estate. But he said, Robert, you're doing fine. There's 3 ways to get wealthy, and one of them is real estate. And this guy has 2 master's degrees. He's a certified financial planner. He's brilliant. He's also a retired Army Ranger sniper and cool guy. You'll meet him sometime. Maybe we'll go up to Grass Valley and do a hops and houses with him. He's this real salt of the earth dude. And smart, really smart. I mean, amazingly smart guy. So, all right, I'm going to try the Marzen. Can you just tell me a little bit about Marzen? I know it's a German beer, maybe?
It's a German. It's got a little bit more malt than most of what we see in the United States. The German pronunciation is Märzen, which is how I pronounce it.
I don't know how to evaluate that beer other than I like it.
Yeah, I mean, the balance is perfect on it.
It's well-balanced, not too malty.
And I'm not sure if the smoky was the hummus or the...
I know, I'm trying to... There's a lingering taste in my mouth. I think it might be the habanero.
No, there's a little smokiness to this.
Is there?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting something, like some toasted nut.
Yeah, a little...
It's like a combo of maybe apricot and toasted nut. Maybe like pecan or something.
Something. So that's actually going to take me to the next... I was involved in a conversation today where they were talking about why people aren't moving. And unbelievably, a real estate agent said this, and I was like, freaking moron. You don't understand. And he's like, he's my age. And he's like, well, I'm not moving because I got a 2.5% mortgage. I'm like, dude, if you got a house that's too big for you, you're moving. And it's like me. It's like I have a large lot, and I have a house that, today is fine for me, but I guarantee you when I'm 82, that house is too big for me. So what are my thoughts? And he's like, well, I'm not moving. I'm like, well, why would you move? It's like, I have all this. I've been paying on this house for almost 18 years now. I don't owe very much on it. So I'm going to walk away with a crap ton of cash. What am I going to, and that's after capital gains. I'm still walking away with a crap ton of cash. I'm going to buy a right-sized house where I want to be, which is, I'm sorry.
She smiled a little bit because she's using the right terminology, and I have to applaud you for that. People say downsize, upsize. It's right size. You're getting the right size for your needs.
Well, exactly. And it's like, I don't want to be 82 years old cleaning that much house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's like, I don't want to do that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, so what you're talking about really is what we'd call like an internal return, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got houses with internal returns, and there's a lot of people in that situation that don't want to sell for that reason. I would say it's a very motivating reason, but don't want to be your only reason. You don't want to be stuck in a home that's not working for you because you've locked in some like great internal return. I always say the places you lay your head at night is not your investment. Like it will.
Don't day trade where you lay your head.
Yeah, like it will give you a return, but it's like the most important thing about where you live is, does it meet your needs and the needs of the people in your house?
Are you happy still?
Totally, 100%. So if your needs give out and you live in a 3-story house, probably should move, right?
Yeah.
Whether you sell or not, I usually think that when you move out of your primary, you should sell it unless it's like some multi-unit you can really make bank on. Like my house, I wouldn't sell because it's multi-unit. It'll work really well when I move out. But like most people, giving up $250,000 to $500,000 capital gains exemption, which you do, you give it up basically 2 years after you move out. You just don't want that. It's not worth it. It's not worth the money in taxes. It's better to take that money tax-free. It's one of the best tax avoidance vehicles in the world. Is primary residence real estate, and people don't realize that, so they'll hang on to a condo that they've it's gone up in value double since they bought it, and they'll walk away from $100,000-$200,000 in tax savings because they want like a cash flowing asset, but at the end of the day it doesn't really cash flow because most condos around here don't.
Right.
This is why I always preach, do not buy condos as investment properties unless you're just trying to like launder or park money. Like if you need a place to just like let money sit and die, like fine, and sell it later, whatever. Like I see a lot of people buy condos and they rent it out and their payment's $3,000, they rent it for $2,500 a month, and they're like, oh, I've got 6 condos, and I'm like, that's terrible though. Like if
you're not cash flowing, don't do it.
And I see people go, well, I paid all cash for it, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean a lot though. Like you could have like put all that money in like a stock and it would have given you better dividends. Like if you're getting a 3% return on your investment, like I'm just not a big fan of that. Like you can do whatever you want. And I always tell people this, especially my clients, because my clients will ask me for my advice, and I'll say, look, there is no right answer. Okay, here's what I would recommend if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah.
Here's why I would recommend it. But if at the end of the day you don't want that and you want to go park your money in a condo, you can do that. It's a free country. You're completely entitled to do whatever you want. You could park your money in a Honda Civic if you wanted to. It doesn't. You could bury it in the ground, put it in a mattress. I don't care, right? But my job is to advise you and not to steer you into some specific, investment vehicle like a cash flowing real estate asset, like I think would be best. But sometimes that happens. And I read a great sales book years ago when I was early in the business. Best sales book I've ever read. I recommend it to all salespeople that I talk to that are getting into the business. And it's called The 7 Triggers to Yes. I forget the author of it. You can look it up on Amazon. And basically, I mean, it spends the first hour talking about the science behind why people make decisions. And there was some breakthrough science a decade or so ago that really showed that people don't make decisions based on logic. At the end of the day, the final thing that helps somebody make a decision is how they feel. They're going to do it based on their feeling. Even if something makes complete sense to them and they make a different decision, it will be based on how they feel. If somebody says, I'm totally logical and I make logical decisions, their emotions may align with what seems logical from an outside observer. But at the end of the day, if that person wasn't comfortable with that decision, if they didn't feel emotionally aligned with that decision, they're not going to make that decision. So that's why I always tell people there's no right answer, because I don't want them to feel like I'm steering them into a certain product, because they have to make that decision. They have to feel comfortable with it. They have to want it, right?
Yeah.
So if Valerie's idiot friend wants to, hang on to 2.5% and live in his 3-story that's way too big for him and doesn't want to sell because it's 2.5, but it doesn't meet any of his needs, that's fine.
Go ahead and knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
Val and I would think, okay? Which is fine. But like that's, we have to remember that when we're talking about real estate, because at the end of the day, we're dealing mainly with people where they live, where they wake up, where they make their coffee.
Yeah.
Where are they sleeping?
Don't
Where are they
day
raised-
trade where you lay your head.
Yeah, and we will help you and we will guide you. But at the end of the day, like, look, we'll help you not steer off a cliff. But aside from that, you have a lot of options.
Yeah, you could go in a brick wall, but
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a little more beer. We're getting kind of long here. We're at 40 minutes. We have Dead Santa. You want to give us a little rundown on Dead Santa?
Dead Santa is their holiday spiced ale. It's a collaboration. What did he told me what they used.
Yeah, now they use the brown ale from Calicraft. Previously, it was a porter that they used, their Shallow Grave porter. Now it's the spiced. Now it's the brown ale from Calicraft.
Oakland Brown?
I think so. Oaktown Brown.
Oaktown Brown, yeah. Okay. It's delicious. And I love me a holiday spiced ale.
It tastes like Christmas.
Yeah, it does.
Right? It just tastes like Christmas.
Yeah.
Evil Cousins, one I really like too. It's a West Coast, honestly, really well balanced West Coast. Just malty enough that it's not like in your face with the hops. It's clear enough, it's light enough, it's bright enough. I don't like a lot of West Coast because I feel like they're too much like their cousins, the regular IPAs. Yeah. This is not. This feels like a true West Coast. It's delicious. It's drinkable.
It's drinkable.
Slightly
It's drinkable.
right?
It's drinkable.
It's drinkable. Okay, that's Evil Cousin. Let's look at Evil Twin.
Back to even. We talked about this one already.
Did we?
Yeah, it's malty.
Okay.
And it's still malty.
It's still malty. Good. I mean, not overly malty. There's a little wateriness on it too. Would you say? It's not malty.
Yeah.
Like compared to like Amnesia and like the Golden Stout, like the malt is not so present. But
I think that's the Meritzen, and I think that's the Pils, and this is the Dead Santa.
you did talk about the Evil Twin, so I didn't try. I don't think I tasted that one though. So it's their red.
It's their red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a unique beer. You don't usually see a red IP. You see a red ale, right?
Well,
Lager.
and it's like that's what Andrew said was, and that's the thing is beer goes in these what's trendy, and it's like first it was IPA, and then we went to hazy. I've always liked pilsners and lagers, and then certain other things, but the Twin is a good red ale, and I do like a good red ale. And they've got a really good one. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, thankfully we're not we like all kind of different beers, so we're not like going IPA.
Totally, yeah. We're happy to try a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I first had my first IPA was in Cork County, Ireland, and I was in a bar just in the downtown square. It was like a second story like bar, like the size of 2 bedrooms basically. And they had a piano in there, and I was playing and singing songs. And so the bartender came up and she goes, "Well, I'll get you a pint for that, I will. What would you like?" I was like, "Well, I guess I'll try this." 18 years old. And I guess I'll have the red ale. All right, good choice. So she brings the red ale, and I thought it was...
So it was an Irish red ale.
Yeah, and I just thought it was delicious, right?
Yeah,
and
of course.
We were going all over Southern Ireland, and my favorite beer ended up being Murphy's over Guinness, actually. Even though I tried a Guinness when I was in Dublin before we had to fly out.
The Guinness over there is better.
Yeah.
Than it is here, but I was not a Guinness fan. That's
Murphy's was when I was there, Murphy's was incredible.
Well, yeah, I was drinking John Courage, but whatever.
You're drinking what?
John Courage.
I don't even know what that is.
It's another beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still around?
I don't know.
Maybe we should go to Ireland together. Put down in the comments if you think Val and I should go to Ireland together. What could go wrong?
It should be fine.
Right. Last plug for Heretic, now bought by Calicraft, 10% off for veterans and first responders. Come check it out. This is their flagship store in the industrial part of Fairfield near Travis Air Force Base. Thanks for tuning in.
It's fabulous.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I love this place.